there. A lovely and warm welcome. It's now time for the news. Stories making headlines in our news today. Zambia in over 1 million metric tons maize deficit. Saboi Imboela to sue Levi Ngoma for allegedly calling her that she is sleeping with a ghost. A senior citizen in Mutendere Township has castigated the Lusaka City Council for threatening to drag them to court for failure of constructing a flushable toilet. And in religious matters, Senior Chief Musonde of the Tonga-speaking people counts returning tithe as a lifestyle. These stories plus more coming up in a moment. To stay with us.
Watch your favorite shows from anywhere, anytime. Yes. Just download the StarTimes own app from Google Play or Apple Store, then register. You can link your DTT or DTH decoder to up to 3 devices by entering your smart card number and the last 6 digits of your decoder serial number. Then voila, you're good to go. You can also pay for your subscription, change your preferred bouquet and other self-services on the app. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Top Star. Enjoy digital life.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Bright Sinkozi with the details. George Kalimukwa is our sign language interpreter. Despite the country producing 1.5 million metric tons of maize during the 2023-2024 farming season, there is still need for about 1,323,288 metric tons of maize. To this effect, government says it will facilitate for the importation of more than 600,000 metric tons of white non-GMO maize to provide relief and support for drought in affected households. Speaking during the official announcement of the crop forecast survey results in Lusaka today, Minister of Agriculture Reuben Mutolo Piri said this is to mitigate the deficit for the 2024-2025 farming season. The minister said the country has recorded a net deficit of 1,323,288 metric tons of maize. Mr. Piri has called on the private sector to also help in importing maize and other foods to help cover the deficit. The minister added that government will continue to offer opportunities which include asset to credit and input for farmers to mitigate weather-based and risk that affect crop production. Louisa Simonga now reports.
The crop forecast survey results. Speaking during the meeting, Minister of Agriculture Honorable Reuben Piri Mtolo said government is facilitating for the importation of more than 600,000 metric tons of maize to provide relief and support for drought in affected areas and households.
The government will continue to offer opportunities such as access to credit and inputs for our farmers to mitigate weather-based and other risks that affect crop production. We will also continue to encourage our farmers to engage in climate-smart agriculture, contract farming, and partnerships that enhance agricultural development. Along the way, I will elaborate a little bit more on what I mean by this. It is, however, saddening to note that despite the efforts of our farmers to produce food for their families and the country, the drought we have experienced in this agricultural season has had a significant impact on crop production, resulting in reduction in outputs across all crops compared to previous years. Dear colleagues, you may wish to note that a reduction in production for most of our crops has resulted into our national food balance sheet for cereals and tubers for the 2024-25 marketing season to reflect a deficit in our country's food supply. This season has been marked by negative effects of the climate change affecting not only agriculture, but also issues related to water. We are having serious issues here. Water for our domestic animals, water for our wild animals. Issues related to energy. Zambia's energy is predominantly hydro. And when you have low water, you are seeing what is happening. Huge, unacceptable levels of load shedding. But what can we do? We are aligned to water. And that is why the president is saying, no one will stop Zambia from turning on our core, fired generation for power. We are going to go for that. And we are now seriously looking at solar energy.
Meanwhile, senior meteorologists from Zambia Meteorological Department highlighted that the 2023 to 2024 farming season gave a little rainfall in most parts of the country, making it an El Nino year.
The WRSI wasn't so good in most parts of the country. Only the northern parts had a good to average WRSI. And compared to the normal, we saw that there was a significant reduction, which is not so good. That is below average WRSI, especially over the southern half of the country. So in conclusion, we would say that the 2023-2024 season was an El Nino year, meaning that it gave us very little rainfall over most parts of the country. The onset of the 2023-2024 season was set by second decade of December, that is between 11th and 20th across Zambia, with most stations reporting their onset by the last decade of November, which is 21st to 30th November. The onset was delayed by 10 days to 20 days for most parts of southern Zambia, with few areas indicating a delay by 3 decades, which is a delay of a month.
The ministry announced that a 50 kg bag of maize will be selling at 330 kwacha. Louisa Simonga reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Now, Opposition Citizens First President Harry Kalava says the current administration has failed to uphold national unity and manage the country's economic challenges. Speaking at a press briefing this morning, Mr. Kalava criticized President Hakainde Hichilema for allegedly promoting tribalism and regionalism. Mr. Kalava has accused government of nepotism in appointments and business contracts. And the opposition leader has expressed deep concern over what he termed deteriorating professionalism of the police force, accusing them of acting on political orders rather than upholding the law. And Mr. Kalava has disclosed that his party will on 18th of June 2024 launch its 2026 to 2031 party manifesto, which he said will give Zambians hope for a peaceful and prosperous future.
At one time, President Hakainde Hichilema also leave office because he was not born with the presidency in the hand. In the next 2 years, we'll be kicking him out of that office. Would he want to be insulted in the manner his predecessor is being insulted? Would he really love to be downgraded the way his predecessor is being downgraded? Even if your brother has made a mistake, you go to those lengths to humiliate your friend. Like really? And you are preaching to us national unity when a man who has ruled over this country for 7 years is being disparaged in that manner, and you are telling us national unity, and you are allowing your own cadres to disparage him in that fashion. So, all I am asking the president is that you have a duty to this country because you swore to uphold the constitution of this country. Your Excellency, sir, use your time well. Bring us together as a country. Avoid using intimidation to rule, because it has never worked. Because there are people who are prepared to go through your threats and others still will remain to carry on the work. So don't use that method in the 21st century.
No.
Dialogue, and I'm speaking as a former diplomat. In diplomacy, we say the best weapon for negotiations is nothing else but diplomacy. Why can't the president engage President Edgar Lungu? What is wrong with him inviting him for coffee? Or him driving to President Lungu's residence? Because he's the one with authority. He's the one to drive there and show leadership.
Meanwhile, opposition National Democratic Congress leader Savoy Imbowela has disclosed that she will sue presidential political advisor Levi Ngoma for allegedly calling her as sleeping with a ghost. Ms. Imbowela was speaking at the Citizens' First press briefing in Lusaka today. She has called on President Hichilema to scrutinize his advisors and labeled Mr. Ngoma as incompetent.
For me also, I want to ask for me, why are you surrounded by men that have such high libido, like because for me, when UPND won, they wanted me so much to be part of UPND, that I can tell you. So I'm in opposition because I want to be in opposition. I know and understand my role in politics in this country. Since I'm a politics angel, the PF wanted me badly, that I can tell you. The UPN, even when they won, they wanted me badly. So they were coming for negotiations. But at Mundwana repeat the Mongaya rabbits, Levi Ngoma, to be in charge of those negotiations. So there were two people that were present. I kind of actually my friend to negotiate with me. It was Levi Ngoma himself and Commerce Minister Chipokamling. So we were just talking to Chipokamling. We had over 10 meetings with Levi Ngoma. 90% of the time, you don't get discussion in Yancha, you can't discussion your funa. Yeah, 90% of the time. You go funa na jam. Savoy here, so I want it. Savoy, so we want a chance. We want a chance. I'm on record. I have said I left the UPN because of sexual harassment. I sexual harassment in the UPN. That's the reason why I left. So, and yeah, people have always told me to say, mention names in Magana. Mention names in Magana. To them, mentioning your name in What I wanted to say was that I'm suing Levi Ngoma because I want to go, in court, which ghost slept with me. And if a ghost slept with me, why does he want to see the same body that a ghost is on? In a master's degree and can I join a politics, I have to start arguing with Levi with the birth certificate.
This is Hope Channel Zambia and you are watching the news just now. Let's take a break. We have more stories on the other side, to stay with us.
Did you know that you can still watch your favorite shows from anywhere, anytime? Yes! Just download the StarTimes own app from Google Play or Apple Store, then register. You can link your DTT or DTH decoder to up to 3 devices by entering your smart card number and the last 6 digits of your decoder serial number. Then voila! You're good to go. You can also pay for your subscription, change your preferred bouquet and other self-services on the app. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Topstar. Enjoy digital life.
Friends and family, following the presidential declaration of the drought as disaster and an emergency which has resulted in hunger situation in the country, ADRA Zambia, Seventh-day Adventist Church at union level and other supporting partners are responding to this emergency by supporting affected families with food rations and water point provision for domestic use and crop production. ADRA Zambia is appealing for more support to reach out to more families. Every donation, no matter how small, will contribute to our collective efforts to mitigate the impact of drought and support our communities during this period. Together, we can make a meaningful impact and support our communities during this difficult time as we save humanity so all may live as God intended. To donate, reach us through our email info@adrazambia.org or call +260 767 327 330. Bank deposit, account name, ADRA Zambia, bank name, Citibank Zambia, account number 0251039089. Branch, Lusaka Main Branch, Swift Code, CTZMLU. Thank you for your generosity and compassion.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now for the rest of the news. A senior resident in Mutendere Township of Lusaka has castigated the Lusaka City Council, LCC, for threatening that members of the community in Mutendere risk being dragged to a fast-track court if they don't construct flashable toilets soon. Hagai Mambwe said the council needs to understand that the people are facing a number of challenges, including some families failing to afford 2 meals a day. However, Lusaka City Council Public Health Director Victor Kagoli said the council will soon engage the affected families to find a lasting solution. Meanwhile, some people have raised concerns over the construction of permanent building structures that have been erected on road reserves in Mutendere, of which some have been vandalized. Information on the ground indicate that alleged structures were built by a Chinese national, and the council is aware.
A senior citizen of Mutendere has complained of a letter from Lusaka City Council dated 17 May 2024 instructing Mutendere community members to construct flashable toilets in the area. The letter indicates that failure to do so, the Lusaka City Council will have no option but to take a legal action against the community members in the fast-track court.
The purpose of our meeting, which we wanted to have today, it is over the letter which they wrote, threatening Mutendere residents that if you don't construct flash toilets, they are going to be taken to court. How can they write such type of a letter as if we have refused, knowing very well that number of people in the compounds, they don't work, they have got no money, they can't even afford to have 2 meals a day. But the director of public relation manager, he has gone ahead to write such type of threatening a resident of Mutendere to say if you don't do that, we are going to take you to court.
In response, Lusaka City Council Public Health Director Victor Kagoli said he is aware of the said letter, of which he and his team are ready for an interaction with the community members.
This is a very important intervention against cholera, especially as we are preparing for the next season. We know that cholera is a fecal oral disease, and it being fecal oral, the more we reduce the number of pediatricians, the more we reduce the communication between this communicable disease, the more we handle the communicable disease. This works with 2 interventions. One, the pediatrician will no longer contaminate the underground water, and also the hygienic behavior of our community will have changed, will have be mechanically induced, even when probably someone is not able to practice good hygiene. But the moment these infrastructures are put across, then we see that there's less or no contact between a human being and the fecal matter, that which is a vehicle for cholera. So we are happy the community is responsive. Of course, we need to do more engagement so that almost everyone who is closer to the line is covered.
Meanwhile, Hagai Mambwe, a resident of the same area, has complained of some permanent buildings that have been erected on a road reserve that have been subjecting them to using longer routes. The 2 sites mentioned, one is alleged to belong to a Chinese national, while the other is suspected to have been erected by the Lusaka City Council.
Is it in order? But they have gone ahead to put up a permanent building on the road reserve. While the city council, they're just watching. We asked the city council to bring the name for all those who are given these plots here. But they have failed to come here. They have failed to come to bring those names. The city council, they have failed. So it means the city council, they're very much involved. The person who is doing that has to be fired. We are not happy. We are not happy. Lastly, we have a football ground here at Mahatma Gandhi. There's no dressing room. Our men and women, they intend to have a dressing room where to change their dressing. But the dressing room was vandalized. The roofing sheets, they were actually stolen. Who stole those roofing sheets? We wanted to know the person who had stolen the roofing sheets. The city council was supposed to come and tell us to say, somebody who did this is this and that. But why can't they take action? So that is the query which the members of the general public, Mtendere residents, they're actually looking at.
Meboch Timbiti, reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
The Energy Regulations Board, ERB, has suspended the operating license for Exxon Petroleum Energy Limited for alleged fraudulent practices. The company, belonging to Oil Marketing Association of Zambia, OMACA's president, Dr. Kafula Mubanga, has a myriad of lawsuits filed against it by many companies for non-supply of fuel. Recently, Judge Chilombo Maka had ordered Dr. Mubanga to pay Luapula Energy Limited 3,506,195 kwacha 90 ngwe for 52 tankers of petroleum products obtained by his company on credit. Exxon Petroleum Energy Limited failed to clear the outstanding debt and enter defense in the matter. Judge Maka compelled Dr. Mubanga to settle the debt as he was in charge of running the company. Suya Energy Limited has also sued Exxon Petroleum Energy Limited, demanding payment of 500,111 kwacha for the non-supply of 40,000 liters of fuel from Tazama Pipeline in Tanzania. And finally, in religious matters, His Royal Highness Chief Hamsonde of the Tonga-speaking people of Choma district in Southern Province says returning tithe to God for him is a lifestyle in showing appreciation to God. Speaking during the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division SID organized benchmarking program recently, the chief said it is important for one to understand the word of God, to live and practice it throughout their lives. Chief Hamsonde encouraged parents to teach their children to return tithe and offering in whatever form they can manage in order for children not to depart from it when they grow. The SID leadership, flanked by a team from Southern Zambia Union Conference, counted animals at Chief Hamsonde's kraal in Choma. Benchmarking is an exercise carried by the Adventist Church every year, where a physical counting of assets returned to the church by both Adventists and non-Adventists as tithe and offering in kind. Esnat Sikazo gives us details in this report.
A dance to express his happiness in welcoming his visitors. This is Senior Chief Hamsonde of the Lundwe-speaking people in Wengwa. The chief invited the SDA church leaders with its delegation to count animals in another kraal in Choma. In expressing his pleasure to the visitors, His Royal Highness served food, a traditional drink called chiwantu, and sawa to his guests.
Mr. President, retaining a tithe is not something that one can panic. No, it's a nice thing in the eyes of God. So nice. Retaining a tithe. That is a demand from God. Everything is His. He doesn't want somebody to rob Him. Now, if you think you are not enjoying retaining a tithe, then you don't want to enjoy also his blessings.
Later, the entourage proceeded to his kraal to count the animals.
The first time that Chief Hamsonde returned tithe of animals was 42 years ago, and he has been consistent to this very day. And what has happened is others have joined, and we can only hope that many more are going to emulate his noble example.
As a conference, we are just beginning. We are a new conference, and when we have members like this family who are able to support the work, the way the work is being supported by this family, then we are sure that God's work will still continue to grow.
Everybody can be faithful as long as God has blessed you with something that is tangible and solid and concrete.
As the counting progressed, the members of the church greatly observed how this boy was leading the cattle into the kraal. Some chief financial officers who are present at this site are eager to see the development of the church through the tithe in kind.
Will grow. The tithe in kind, once converted, goes a long way in giving back to the community in terms of church assistance, the building of helping churches to build their church worship facilities, and also various other mission-driven activities for the church.
Yeah, they do help develop the church because they assist in the mission of the church, which is to evangelize throughout the world and throughout our local conferences and churches, so that people can be ready for the soon coming of Jesus Christ. It is important that when this tithe in kind is given by members, it is well recorded, yes, so that members, those who are giving, can have confidence in the system of the church.
Some delegates welcomed this gesture.
It is my first time to see tithe in kind animal and the farmer also. I would implement it in my conference also.
For us in Africa, where biological assets, that's our wealth as Africans. And so giving back to God what He has given us is very important. I've also learned that there is no poor person because I can even give my chickens if I don't have cattle. So I've learned a lot of
testimony or witnessing the tithe in kind, something that has never been done in Angola to a certain extent. We are learning so that we take it also back home so that it's done.
The counting of animals in the chief's kraal marks the official closing of the benchmarking program.
2024 Benchmarking Zambia.
The 3 days that we've spent so far in southern province of Zambia clearly shows that the members of the church understand giving tithe in kind. This is evident that it is important that one does not have to rely on money only to give to the Lord, but also properties and other assets that they own. Esna Timbewe Sikazwe, Hope News, Southern Province.
Well, that has been a marathon of activities marking the benchmarking activities witnessed by a lot of church leaders from within the country and beyond and the borders of the SID territory. Well, that item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's recap on stories that made headlines. Zambia in over 1 million metric tons of maize deficit. Saboi Imbowela to sue Levi Ngoma for allegedly calling her as sleeping with a ghost. A senior resident in Mutendere Township has castigated the Lusaka City Council for threatening them with lawsuits for failing to erect flushable toilets. And Chief Hamsonde of the Tonga-speaking people in Wengwa district west of Monze calls returning tithe as a lifestyle. Thank you so much for your time. On behalf of the entire studio and production team, my name is Bright Sinkozi. Alongside George Kalimukwa, our sign language interpreter. Until we're back next time at the same time, from all of us, it's God bless and keep watching Hope Channel Zambia, television that changes lives. Bye for now.